turnovers by either team.
Very even.
In a lot of games since we've gone 3 quarters without a turnover.
Dallas still not over the 100-yard mark in rushing. Unusual for them, but they dominate in the time of possession. But these guys lead on the scoreboard by 7.
At the 42-yard line. Got Mitchell. Play fake, going deep, looking for more. Incomplete. Good coverage. Emmitt Smith, one of the finest in the league, right there with him.
And getting help from the inside. And Dallas plays it so loose back there, but they cover each other so well. Kevin Smith knows he's got outside responsibility. Turn to the outside. Look, he has help on the inside from Washington. But again, Kevin Smith, one of the best in the business. When he slides into the man coverage, he's good.
Well, that was brilliant by Smith, but I'll tell you something. James Washington was a good 4 steps behind.
Sanders cuts it back. Again, vintage Barry, first down to the 45 of Dallas. Kevin Smith made the tackle.
He just doesn't plant the foot and cut. He plants the foot and explodes into the cut. It's almost impossible to judge the tackle, and he is so low, you just never get under him.
Barry, 133.
6.3 per carry, though. Look at that average. 6.3 against the Super Bowl champions, folks.
Year in, year out, it's around 4.0. This year it's down to 3.7 at this point in the season.
I think it was a great shot. Emmitt Smith looking at that stat on the board.
Got that 6.3 just went to about 6.
Yeah, it did.
Thanks to Dixon Edwards.
Well, Barry Sanders takes chances. You know, if somebody is in a mood to knock his running style, is it on a lot of occasions he gives yardage in the attempt to get the big play. And if there is a difference between Sanders and Emmitt Smith, it's that Sanders has more runs that lose yardage than Emmitt Smith. And Emmitt said, hey, this guy is making me look bad in my own house. Now, how about some support?
2nd and 14. So throws, and the catch is made and rolled out of bounds is Perriman at the 42-yard line. Perriman has scored a touchdown earlier tonight.
Good call, good delivery by Scott Mitchell. They have 2nd, 3rd down, a lot of yards. For the 2nd down and about 15, they get half of it. Put themselves in a good 3rd down position.
There's Lomas Brown right there. Look at this work here at the bottom of your screen against Haley. Boy, that's really controlling your guy and taking him clear out of the picture.
Well, since the early going, Haley's been a non-factor here tonight.
And this guy is off to a great start. 5.5 sacks coming in.
Troy Aikman temporarily spectating. His team down by 7. Michael Irvin waiting to get back in, but right now the defense and Emmitt Smith as well looks on as it's 3rd down and 7 for Detroit at the Dallas 42. 12:30 to go, 4th quarter. Lions up 17-10.
They need a pass rush. The Cowboys need to put pressure on Mitchell.
They rush 4. And he throws for Perriman, and he drops the ball at the 13-yard line.
Perriman was beyond Brown, and in between Brown and the safety man coming over Washington, and Scott Mitchell put it in there beautifully. It would have been a tough catch, but one you should have caught. Take a look again. He's got the only place where it could have been completed. What a fine delivery.
And they rapidly line up the punt, and Montgomery floats one that bounces inside the 10 and is knocked down at the 1-yard line and covered at the 2. Derek Moore got down there. Derek Moore, number 31, got down there to keep it from going into the end zone and pin Dallas deep. 12 minutes and 14 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter. Improbably, Detroit leading 17-10, and Dallas backed up at its own 2, 1st and 10. Aikman to throw out of the end zone, and the catch is made at the 19-yard line. That's an 18-yard pickup. Michael Irvin to the 20.
That's all pro stuff there. I mean, you're deep in your own end zone, throwing a deep out over a linebacker into the hands of the receiver. That's pretty special.
Well, you talk about needing it. Remember the last time Dallas was in this position, they went 3 and out, punted away, and Detroit got a touchdown as a result. This was a big play, Aikman to Irvin. This gives Dallas a lot of room to get things going now. They can use their entire offense now.
From the 20-yard line. Great protection. Slings one out to Moose Johnston. And Carroll runs over McNeil. Picks up the first down up at the 33-yard line.
This is what the Cowboys need to get the crowd back in it.
Everybody needed it except McNeil. He's the only guy that didn't need it. Here you got a 235-pound guy, and McNeil was not in the classic tackling position and paid the price for it.
He was in the catching position, and rightfully so. That's the position he has to take.
First down, Dallas at the 33. 10:55 to play. Aikman looking deep for Irvin. It's a little underthrown and dropped at the 36-yard line.
Look who was all the way back in the coverage. Same man that stopped Emmitt Smith short of a touchdown in the goal line defense. Spielman, Chris Spielman.
Spielman's just running his butt off downfield. Has no idea where the football is. Has no idea. There's Spielman in the middle of your screen at the bottom.
He's got his eye on 80, though.
He has no idea where the ball is.
Where's the ball? I've never been down here before.
Now that's running an awful long way and just by happenstance finding yourself in the middle of the play.
That is a throwback football player, I'll tell you that.
Enough to distract him. 2nd and 10, and Emmitt Smith busted up to the 39-yard line. It's going to set up a 3rd and 4.
Emmitt Smith is known for his big fourth quarters. He can certainly provide a lot of boost to the Cowboys offense if he can pull it together. There you are right there. Those stats show a lot.
Well, those numbers, I think, are also indicative of this is about the time of the game where the pressure of that huge offensive line begins to take a toll on the defensive line. This is a pretty small group for Detroit and a rather large one for Dallas.
3rd and 4, and the Lions came across. It's going to be a free play and a first down any way you want to look at it. Overcheck makes the catch. Robert Bourget came across.
That's fatigue. That's when you make a mistake like that. When you get a little tired, the concentration wanes, and you make a dumbbell play like that and come across the line.
Offside on the defense, 91.
And again, a little bit of a hard count by Troy Aikman, but if I'm correct, that was the 4th first down reception for the tight end, Jay Novacek. A little head bob, and here they come.
This is where Detroit has to really somehow summon up some concentration, focus, because they've got the world champions coming at them. They've been behind before. They know how to do it.
From the 49, Aikman throws over the middle. Moose Johnson fumbles at the 50-yard line, and the Detroit Lions have the football.
First turnover of this game.
And that's a result of a guy putting his helmet right on the football. Right on the football.
Kelvin Pritchett recovered it.
It takes a helmet on the football to get it to pop out like that. Let's take a look at that. Just perfect. Mike Johnson, and that is how it is done. The plastic of the helmet is right on the pigskin, and away it goes.
Former Cleveland Brown.
Who could hold on to the football when it gets hit like that with a helmet?
Barry Sanders somehow escapes.
Unbelievable.
Darryl Johnston, you talk about man fighting dogs. In the last 4 years, it's only his 2nd fumble.
I just marvel at what Barry Sanders can do that no one I've ever seen play this game can do. He's just like a spider going down the sideline. How he kept his balance, I'll never know. Let's take a look at the fumble again. The helmet, bang, Johnson right on that ball.
I don't know that anybody could. RoboCop couldn't have held on to that football.
Here's Sanders again to the 33-yard line. Under 9 minutes now to play in regulation. 17-10 Detroit.
Boy, and Darryl is really unhappy with himself. He's a money player, an offensive leader, but that happens every now and then. That was just an absolutely pinpoint strike by Mike Johnson.
2nd down 6. stopped at the 34. Minimal loss.
Good play there by Tony Tolbert. He honored his responsibilities playing the outside. If Barry Sanders is going to come his way, he's going to turn him back in, and that's exactly what Tolbert did.
So he can make a minimal loss exciting. Look at the spin.
Yeah, Barry wanted to go outside, and that's just really well done by Tolbert.
3rd and 8 at the 34. Lions up by 7.
Big man Moore, top of your screen.
In motion. He slants across the middle. Mitchell looks that way, throws it off the hands of Moore. Gunned it in there. Incomplete.
Tell you one thing, the Dallas pass rush has disappeared. They're fortunate that ended up an incompletion by the Lions. Because Scott Mitchell had all the time he wanted and had the whole field right in front of him, Frank.
One of the few bad passes he's thrown tonight. He had too much on that. It was behind Moore. Very tough to handle.
52-yard field goal attempt is coming up here. Jason Hanson. One of the very best.
This is having a lot of confidence in your kicker.
Craig sets it down.
No question.
And it is no good. Had plenty of distance.
Oh, yeah.
But off to the left.
He had a 62-yarder back in college, so there's no question about the distance. He can get there.
And here's where it costs you an extra 7 yards now, because that ball comes back to the spot of the kick instead of the line of scrimmage.
The 42 to Buffalo. Bills host the Broncos. Here, Detroit on top by 7, 17-10. Dallas has it first and 10 at the 42-yard line. Aikman checks off to Emmitt Smith. He's rolled out of bounds by Tracy Scoggins up at the 46-yard line.
And next Monday, it's a
Marquee matchup at quarterback, because we've got Jim Kelly and the Buffalo Bills coming off a pair of wins after the opening day loss to the Jets, and John Elway and the Denver Broncos 0-3 right now.
Talk about
critical game for them.
Talk about desperate.
Yeah. Second and 8. Emmitt Smith plows ahead, stopped just shy of the 49-yard line. It'll be 3rd and about 3. Chris Spielman makes the tackle.
Oh, and look at Spielman trying to get his guys fired up, slapping heads and everything.
well, what a
Gets
game
Robert
he's played.
Porsche right on the helmet, trying to get him going. A rock in the middle, a real rock. Remember the All-Star County football team a long time ago? 3 members here in attendance tonight. Up here in the booth, Wayne Fonts over on the sideline.
Detroit better account for Novacek.
3rd down and 3, and it's over the middle and it's incomplete, but there's a flag, and they accounted for Novacek illegally.
There comes another flag.
Willie Clay had him wrapped up.
Novacek again with that little move, head fake to the outside, broke away from Clay. Clay had nothing else he could do. Wrapped his arms around and drew the flag.
First down.
Well, one thing about it, you're going to mug him good.
He did.
Not much in dispute about that call.
1st down at the 45. Johnston. And he takes McNeil with him to the 36-yard line, shy of the 1st down by a half a yard or so.
McNeil's saying to himself, now what are the odds of getting a linebacker out here to give me a little help?
I'll tell you, he has hammered McNeil a couple of times tonight.
McNeil about 175 pounds. Not a big fan of this matchup that he keeps finding himself in out in the flat with Daryl Johnson.
He looks up, here comes 48. Looks like about a 21-wheeler to him.
Didn't we just do this?
Yeah.
2nd and inches at the 35-yard line. Second and inches. Why not? Well, it's deflected and it's incomplete. Irvin was the intended receiver.
That ball was uncatchable. That's not going to draw any kind of a flag.
Well, some of the people here in attendance started booing. I'm not sure that they saw the ball tipped at the line of scrimmage.
Robert Porsche got a hand on it.
There's Porsche, 91. It goes right off his right hand. Wasn't close, but did his job.
Well, you can see the sweat on Porsche. It's not terribly hot, but it is certainly warm down on that field in the 80s when the game began.
And you just don't get any air movement. The air is perfectly still at the base of this stadium.
Here's Smith with a first down on the left, more inside the 20, and McNeil rides him down at the 4.
Well, they contained him for a long time, and all of a sudden he got the gap. Well, he loved that. He's saying, I'm still the man.
Well, Mark Tuaney, Nate Newton, they've been doing a strong job of blocking tonight. Boy, they did it again. Got another good block at the line of scrimmage at the point of attack. Is that Galbraith?
Larry Allen.
Larry Allen comes in at tight end, number 73.
And Johnson again with that big block in front.
Yeah. Allen caves in that whole left side from the tight end position, and Aikman says, I need a timeout. They were down to 2 seconds on the play clock.
4:55 remaining. Now, it's too early, really, to talk about do you go for the win or do you go for the tie. But just as a point of information, we discussed it last night with Barry Switzer, and he said his inclination, if he has a situation where he goes down to, let's say, and I specifically said the final minute of the game, he said he would kick and go into overtime. So clearly here in this situation with a lot of time left, you're looking at 1 point.
How did he put it? He said, am I going to give my quarterback 1 shot at it, or am I going to give somebody like a Troy Aikman 8 shots at it?
Well, of course, if you with that philosophy, though, you're basically saying I better win the coin flip.
Or I got a defense that's going to get the ball back for me, and Detroit's been able to move that football tonight.
And I think being at home is a big, weighs heavily in that decision as well.
Jerry Jones has made his way to the field.
Well, the last time that Dallas was in this position, they were party to quite a fine goal line stand by the Detroit Lions. Let's see what they can muster up this time. Here we go, Emmitt Smith. As we said before, just comes on in the second half. A combination of many things, not the least of which is he's a wonderful player.
I think we might see him go right to the air from down here, out on first down.
First and goal, they split Irvin wide to the right. Double tight end set. Johnson the fullback, and Smith is the tailback, and we've got a whistle before the snap.
A lot of finger pointing going on by the boys in the Honolulu and silver.
That's what it's called, Honolulu blue.
I know that's what it's called. That's why I said that.
I'm just reiterating. What a good play-by-play guy does. He just repeats what the analyst says, right?
I'm glad you finally figured it out. I'm glad it has finally been an awakening for you, Al. 4 years in Michigan. Then I moved to my sophomore year.
What do you think, arts and crafts? Known as Honolulu Blue.
That's
first and goal at the 9. And it's made, the catch made underneath by Novacek. And that takes it only to the 7. It'll be second down and goal.
Boy, but absolutely no pressure on Troy Aikman. He checked off on about 3 receivers, got good coverage, as you might suspect, with no pass rush. But you can't do that very often to Troy Aikman. He'll find somebody.
No, you're right about that, Frank. But I'll say this about Detroit. They're putting some hats on the ball carrier. They are swarming to the football. But if your point is well made, they better find some way to alter Aikman's rhythm, or they'll pay a big price for it.
Second and goal at the 6. Dallas down by 7. Emmitt Smith swings to the outside. Touchdown, Cowboys. Nate Newton with the big assist on that one.
And you wonder, how does a guy 330 pounds run like that? Nate Newton from left guard comes all the way across the formation out in front and makes the block, making that man the check writer in this organization very happy.
I mean, that was a great block. It just wasn't your mediocre block. Now watch Newt, all 330 pounds of him.
That's Benny Blades.
And then he cuts him.
That's Blades he puts on the ground. But it's how far the big man had to run.
Chris Boniol out of Novacek's hole. Dukes it through 4:09 left in regulation. And we're locked at 17.
Boy, that was a good drive by the Dallas Cowboys. Again, look at Newton. He's on the right part of the screen. Here he comes all the way around the corner looking for the support. That's his job, to pick up the support guy. And look what he does. He not only drives Benny Blades a couple yards back, but then puts him on the ground. Boy, that's a big motor scooter coming out of there, Frank.
I mean, that's almost amazing. And we know how good he is. He's certainly a great drive blocker, great pass protection. You don't get that many times to look at somebody that big doing that superb a job as a pulling guard.
Think he doesn't play with a little emotion, Emmitt Smith? That man loves to win.
And that man loves to eat.
Well, this crowd's back in the game.
Chris Boniol sends it deep. Ray from the 2. And a nice tackle at the 22-yard line. Brock Marion.
Well, if nothing else, what we're about to see, whether it's a positive or a negative, will certainly be a quality learning experience for Scott Mitchell. On the road against the Dallas Cowboys, tie ball game, 4 minutes left, hostile, noisy crowd.
Oh, and if you were going to grade him thus far, Dan, you would have to say certainly B+. Now Sitting step up to A.
At the 22-yard line. Barry Sanders. Just another Charles Bronson move, huh? The great escape right after the 37-yard line.
He gets more yards.
Smith.
He gets more yards on the sidelines than any back I've ever seen. I think he's going out of bounds, and he has that little scurry to stay inbounds. Almost impossible to get under him to make the contact. I just marvel at him, I really do. Now watch this. He gets to the outside. Those are all instinctive moves. Nothing is thought out about it. His body just flows, and it's just an amazing thing to watch.
Got a good block by Halleck and Holman there at the point of attack.
160 yards tonight for Barry Sanders. He seeks a few more, and you can make it 165 after the 41-yard line. It'll be second down and 5. The best performance of the weekend by a ball carrier, Barry Foster. The Steelers yesterday 179 yards against Indianapolis. And Emmitt Smith. Well, this one, in terms of that individual matchup, lived up to advanced billing, and the game was a hell of a lot better than anybody ever thought it would be.
Emmitt Smith is staying in the early going. If you weren't with us, he went out of the ball game on 3 different occasions after having carried the football on a run.
Second and 6. Mitchell tipped, batted, incomplete. Darren Smith got his hands on it.
Darren Smith really wasn't rushing the quarterback. He's really just floating as a spy, hovering a couple of yards off of the line of scrimmage. Stayed in it and got up in the air when he sensed it was Mitchell's time to throw.
Boy, and you got to be looking for your big wide receiver now, Herman Moore. Third down, passing situation about 6. Darren going high in the air.
Third down and 6.
Play
clock is down to 1, and they just do get it off. And it's thrown complete to the 49-yard line to Aubrey Matthews for a very critical first down conversion. While they were late getting up to the line, they had to go right at the point where the clock went from 1 to 0, and they hit Matthews for a first down.
What an unlikely call, and to get it off without drawing the penalty,
First of all, look at the pocket. Really solid.
Sidearming the ball to avoid the pile up in front of him.
11-yard gain of first. Well, the Detroit Lions, I guess they're just like a stock that whipsaws. We talked about it at the very beginning, the way they played through the 90s. Here's a game in which they really didn't figure to be in it, on the road at Dallas, coming off that performance last week against the Minnesota Vikings. And here they are, tied at 17 at the 2-minute warning.
Well, you said that, Al. In 1989, they were 7-9. Then they went 6-10. They were 12-4, 5-11, 10-6, back and forth. They haven't really found an identity yet.
What's really impressed me is the way they held in there after Dallas took the opening drive, stuck it right down their throat, and didn't lose it.
And here's Barry Sanders. And right now, what Detroit would love to do is keep the ball, set Hanson up for a field goal, and just take as much time off the clock as they can. And the Lions have 1 timeout left, and the Cowboys have 2.
And the 1 timeout, obviously, is very critical for Detroit because this is an opportunity. They'd like to have their full complement of 3 still at their disposal. The fact that they only have 1, a real disadvantage. This guy, though, one of the fine young legs in the National Football.
We saw how far he could kick it a while ago, and I mentioned that he had a 62-yarder when he was a collegiate.
Second and a yard at the 39-yard line. And it's Sanders going, well, just past the line of scrimmage, and I think he should have enough for the first
The
down.
ball came back. Barry did a pretty good job of laying it out a little bit farther after he hit the ground, but
I think he's got it.
Well, they're going to stop for a measurement here. 103. Dallas is in a very tenuous position here in terms of taking its timeouts defensively. They've got 2. You reach the point when you're almost in field goal range. You need to conserve a little bit of time.
well, if I'm Dallas, I don't stop the clock for anything.
Not right here.
Not right here.
Not yet.
No, not until they've got to be a lot closer before I do that. Well, this is going to bring up. This will bring up a little fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're going to have to get some ticks off the clock unless you want to try and pick up big yardage on 2nd and short. We talked about it earlier in the game.
Well, you go for it on 2nd and short. What that means is you got 20 people on the pile. That takes a long time to get everybody off. The Dallas folks will be in no hurry to get back up on their feet. This short yardage play, if it is just a buck up the middle to try to get the yard.
Well,
you know,
you got to take this down the field.
3rd and inches, and they will start the clock. They wind the clock now. Under a minute to play, and straight ahead, very close again.
Now, the only thing that's going to help them is it's so close. There you go. They're going to stop it for a measurement.
Scott Mitchell holding on.
They should get their play called, get ready to make the snap.
See, if they'd have picked up a full yard or 2 yards where it was apparent that they pick it up, you know, that clock keeps on going. That they're this close, and if they pick it up, this will be a big advantage, a big help to Detroit. Obviously, if they don't make it, it brings up a 4th down.
Well, they measure here. It enables Mitchell also to go over and talk to Dave Levy.
Right. A lot of slack in that chain there.
Ooh,
wow, they got it.
Now it is a 1st down. The clock is stopped temporarily, 51 seconds. They have a timeout to the Lions. They will wind the clock as soon as the ball is ready for play, and there it is. They send Herman Moore off to the right. Sanders is the sole setback. Double slot right. Give it to Barry. Nowhere. Great play by Dixon Edwards.
On Barry Sanders, you have got to seal off the perimeters. Dixon Edwards, sealed off the left side of the offensive formation, and what a hit on Sanders.
And Detroit does not take a timeout. They're saving their last timeout, but they're using almost all of the clock here. We're down to 15 seconds.
I can't believe it's taken them this long to run a play.
2nd down and 12. That's very bad clock management. Real bad.
Oh, wide open. Perriman.
Mitchell throwing, nearly picked off at the 15-yard line.
Perriman, there's 9 seconds left in the game. What are they doing?
Well, that was a terrible clock. Even with 1 timeout left, you have to take it. There are other ways to stop the clock.
Scott Mitchell did not see Brett Perriman Coverage was blown. He was wide open and screaming for the football down the sidelines.
You know, timeouts don't carry over to the next week. You don't get to take them with you.
Yep. You don't put them up on the wall.
No, you do not put them up on the wall.
They're going to let Hanson go for it. I mentioned that in college he kicked 162 yards.
Well, this one is going to be 57 yards.
You know, the worst thing that happens is you go to overtime. Best thing that happens, you win the game.
Craig holds 57 yards. It's deflected.
Okay.
Don't touch it, Leon.
You're a bad boy.
Oh, well, you know.
You're a bad boy. Overtime. Oh, and we've got, we've got one of the Dallas Cowboys. That's James Washington, who brings the ball out of the end zone.
And you got Barry Switzer taking Robert Jones and shoving him back toward the bench. Somebody got a hand on it. The kick was low. Chris Boniol will kick off. Officially, they are saying it's not a block kick, even though it was deflected. And on our replays, as close as we can tell, of all guys, it was Leon Lett who got his hand on the missed field goal by Hanson, which appeared to be too low anyway, even had it not been touched.
Leon goes about 6'6", and he had a big hand up there.
Why do you say of all guys?
Well, because everybody remembers the story, the Leon Lett story. It's a shame in a way. He's noted for two things, the two gaffes, and he's a hell of a player. Is what it amounts to.
He is that. And, you know, it doesn't wipe away Detroit's really poor clock management in the last 30 seconds of the fourth quarter.
Let's see if they can overcome it here now. It's Mel Gray. Brings it out to the 32-yard line. We now have a definitive shot.
There it is from behind. Big Leon, number 78. The left hand up in the air, and he gets it.
They don't call that a deflection?
His left hand made sure that Hanson's kick wasn't going to go through the upright.
Of course, Hanson has got to get a very low trajectory to cover that distance, so it gave Lett another opportunity.
Here's one of the big pluses of winning the toss in overtime with the new kicking rules. Look at this field position. An ordinary return, you're at the 32.
Barry Sanders swings to the outside. His big night continues. He picks up about 6, takes it to the 38-yard line.
One of the fine defensive tackles in the NFL. That's what Leon Lett has become.
He can play anywhere really down that defensive line. He might make an outstanding defensive end. They have played him there.
2nd and 4. It's the Lions' second overtime game in 3 games. They beat Atlanta on opening day. Sanders exploits the hole. Barry to the Dallas 47-yard line.
Oh, boy.
He is playing like he is possessed tonight. It is a great stage, and of course the man who stands between him and probably the recognition that he feels he should have is sitting on the bench watching him, Emmitt Smith. He's putting on a show tonight.
How many changes of direction do you make in one run? This is a special night, folks, with 22 and 20 going at it.
1st and 10. That's 191 yards for Barry Sanders. And about 2 or 3 more. Derek Moore picks up 2 or 3 more right there.
We said 2 or 3, 4 more.
4 more, exactly. That's exactly what I meant. I just forgot the preposition.
There we go again. Al said 191 yards. Almost a 6-yard per carry average. 5.7 per.
He had 220 yards, did Sanders, in a 1991 game against Minnesota, his career best. Moore stopped. Robert Jones right there. 3rd and 8.
Barry Sanders, after a couple of big runs, has been coming to the Detroit sideline. Moore's been coming in for a couple of plays. Here comes Sanders back out. Obviously, the heat and the amount of yardage that he's covered tonight taking a physical toll on Barry Sanders.
He covers when he gains about 8 yards. He covers about 20 yards.
Well, this will be an interesting call. Charles Haley was across the line, and then Lomas Brown came out of his stance.
3 flags are down.
False start
Going to make it 3rd and 13.
Lomas leaning a little bit, it looked like.
Well, this is, here we go. There's Lomas standing up. Haley with his hand on the ground. Well, actually, yeah, there was a switch in at the left guard. Sean Bowens moved his left arm, and then Brown went. And Haley the opportunist.
3rd and 13. Mitchell throws. Herman Moore makes the catch. A first down at the 33-yard line.
Well, we've seen a lot of Herman Moore tonight. You'll never see a more aggressive move by Herman Moore, going up knowing he was going to get hit. He did get hit, concentrating completely on the ball and coming down with it.
Well, if Detroit should win this game tonight, the 5 guys up front get a game ball. Scott Mitchell stands in the pocket for a good 5 seconds, getting a good look at the field, and boy, it's hard to look at the field and not see Herman Moore as big as he is.
And either Moore or Perriman blew that pattern because they most much of him tonight.
Aubrey Matthews has had a couple big catches tonight.
A couple of fine first down catches by Matthews.
First down, Detroit at the Dallas 33. Sanders to the 31. That is 33 carries tonight.
Boy, that's a lot of work.
Oh, boy.
That's
Perriman is coming back into the game.
And that is a career high. That's the most carries for Barry ever.
Save him a spot in the hot tub. He's earned it.
Second and 8. Another carry, and there's Leon Lett, who won't let go.
Oh, no, and all of these yards down here hurt because they are within field goal range, and that is just going to extend that distance.
Boy, those were precious yards. You're right, Frank.
Hanson has made one from 32 and missed from 51 and 57. He's looking at about a 52-yarder right now.
Well, that's a miscommunication between Kevin Glover, the center, and Sean Bowens, the left guard. One of those 2 guys should have been responsible for stamping Leon Lett and stopping him at the line.
4.5 minutes into overtime. 3rd and 11, and flags are down. That was Jim Jeffcoat.
Well, this play never happened.
Ball start. Number 66 on the
Well, Detroit, because of the play of Leon Lett and now the false start of Sean Bowens, has cost themselves close to 10 yards. 10 very, very critical yards when you're talking about being in overtime and in field goal range. They have now put themselves back to a 57-yard field goal from what was about a 47-yard field goal.
Perriman back in the game. He split left, Moore to the right. 3rd down 16 at the 40. Sanders, and he takes it to the 34.5. So you're looking at a 52-yard field goal now.
And well within Hanson's range. The Cowboy is shaken up.
Well, when you see a soccer kicker, when he puts too much into it, you have a tendency to pull it to the left. That's what we saw with Hanson trying the winning attempt at a field goal at the end of regulation.
James Washington, the Cowboy that was shaken up his best in a couple of years. Detroit 53 yards. As I mentioned earlier, he has took it much further at the collegiate level. He's able to reach it.
Again, he's made one from 32, missed from 51 and 57. This is 52 yards. Dave Craig to put it down. There has not been a 50-yard field goal in the league this season. Blocked. It might be Lett again. He's building a new legacy.
Letter Hennings is acting like he got it. Both are 6'6".
Well, there was penetration up front, but that ball really looked low.
Again, I think it was just Hanson trying to reach for more distance, lowering the trajectory and making it vulnerable.
All right, let's take a look right in the middle. Leon Lett is right over the center. Now they are definitely getting some penetration. It is Leon. The left hand. The left hand.
Boy, they should inspire the offense of the Cowboys.
Boy, they did a great job of driving Detroit back.
Talk about a guy that finds the spotlight. Leon led. The pass for Johnston is low. 2nd and 10.
You know, this Detroit offense, they got to be a little cool. They haven't played any football in a long time.
Well, that's several times tonight that Aikman has been short on that little out pass to his fullback, the little check pass. He was throwing that very poorly tonight.
You know, Detroit had the ball at the end of regulation. They've had the ball for 5.5 minutes of overtime. There's been a few ticks off the old clock since Dallas has played any offense.
2nd and 10, Dallas at the 42. Game tied at 17. 5.5 minutes into overtime. Emmitt Smith up to the 44. Gain of a couple. 3rd down and 8. Later tonight on Nightline, former President Carter, Senator Sam Nunn, General Colin Powell will be featured following your late local news. Third down and 7 at the 45-yard line. Troy throws. Novacek was held on to. Interference. Spielman
Grabbed Novacek once again.
Yeah, Spielman was all over him, and he knew it. That was brought about by a great move by Jay Novacek. He faked Chris Spielman into having to grab him.
I think he's picked up 4 first downs on receptions and a couple tonight on penalties.
Man, Novacek runs good patterns. Watch this guy come off the ball. That little hitch to the outside and then coming back, and there he tries to go outside again, and Spielman hooks him. That's just brought about by the quality of the pattern run by Jay Novacek. Spielman knows he's been had and just reaches out with the left hand and grabs it.
That was a good look at Aikman and Novacek working together. That pass designed to go over the middle. They both read that he had to go to the outside.
Smith, oh boy, runs right into Spielman.
Oh, what a game he's played.
Hasn't that always been the hallmark of the game's great players? That after something negative happens, they always seem to come back with a positive. Look at Chris Spielman read it, come right through the hole, and put a stamp right in the chest of Emmitt Smith. Robert Porcher was on the bottom around Smith's ankle.
Well, I'll tell you, they're asking him an awful lot to cover Novacek, period.
2nd and 11 at the 49-yard line. Aikman throws. Johnston makes the catch. He rolls down at the 45-yard line. He's about 5 yards shy of the first down. Massey makes the tackle. Key 3rd down coming up. 3rd and 5.
Well, the 2 wideouts since the first quarter, Alvin Harper and Michael Irvin, have been pretty much taken out of this game. They have been very quiet. Most of the 3rd down action has been left to Novacek, as you might suspect. If you're getting double coverage on the 2 outstanding wideouts, you're going to free up the tight end.
Well, this is the part of the game where the confidence of a world champion is a big plus.
3rd down and 5, and they give it to Emmitt Smith, and he has the first down. He gets 7.
Well, that's believing in your big man. 3rd and 5, you go with the draw, and Emmitt Smith gets the first down, and he's hurt.
Smith driving. Harry Colin was the man who made that very hard tackle at the end.
I think he jammed his shoulder or his head right into the buttocks of his own man.
That was his 27th carry of the night.
It was a pretty jarring hit by Harry Colin at the conclusion of the play. Michael Irvin is the Cowboy out in front blocking, and there's contact here, but watch how hard right there that hit by Colin hits the helmet of Emmitt Smith and kind of pushes his head off to the right side. Right there, that collision with Colin.
Emmitt Smith with 2 timeouts in 02.
Keep in mind the Cowboys have a rookie kicker in Boniol.
It is deflected, and it is caught by a lineman at the 38. And Derek Morse, he loses the football. Michael Johnson tipped it to start things. Kennard wound up with it. He loses the football. Swilling gets it.
Kennard gets it, and then can hardly hold on to it. He juggles the ball. Watch Derek Kennard. He has it. Oh, and then just can't put it away.
I think it was Owens who knocked it out of there, and Swilling just caught it in the air.
Violated a Kennard.
Number 90 gets a hand in. What's this? You come up from behind.
Derek has the ball. He puts it away. It is a legitimate fumble. He had possession, put it away, and then had it knocked out by Owens. What a weird football game. Weird, wacky.
Former Saint is a center at the moment. The ball is at the 45-yard line, and this is Barry Sanders going nowhere. We are 8.5 minutes into overtime.
Well,
when
you played the game, coaches had an expression that they always loved. I don't care what level you played. Coaches called it a gut check, a fortitude check, a toughness check, whatever you want to call it. Well, that's at the 6-minute and 10-second mark of overtime. That's what every player on the field here for Detroit and Dallas is going through right now. These guys are fatigued beyond belief. They're on autopilot, and they're playing their hearts out.
That's to go. This is now the 70th minute of the game. Under 6 minutes to play in overtime, and Mitchell throws, and it's caught at the 50-yard line by Herman Moore, who takes it down to the 47. It's going to be 3rd and 2. One thing about the Cowboys, in contrast to the Lions, at least Dallas has a week off. And what better time than after a Monday night overtime?
Yep, the NFC East it's their bye week next week, and you're right, this will come at a good time.
Detroit, meanwhile, goes home, and they'll face the Patriots and Bledsoe. 3rd and 2. At the 47-yard line. Sanders, real close. He's real close.
And Robert
depends on where they mark it. They did not give him a good mark.
Well, Robert Jones saved a big play. The Cowboys came with an inside linebacker blitz. What that means, if Barry Sanders gets past that first wave, there's nobody left. That'll just go down as one tackle on the game summary, but this is a biggie by Robert Jones, number 55. Look at that. He fights off the block of Ty Halleck, falls back to the inside, and that's a biggie.
And a first down.
Yeah, it's a first down, but it could have been a whole lot worse. Barry Sanders could have gone right up the tunnel.
We talked about the heat. We talked about the exhaustion that these players are going through at the moment. Barry Sanders has carried a record number of times for, what is it now, in times carried? 197 yards, 37 carries. Boy, that's a night.
First down at the 45. Carry number 38 is a loss. 37, though, he long ago surpassed his personal high, and it's now a new Detroit Lion team record with 4.5 left in overtime.
Well, that was 38. And I think it's time for Scott Mitchell to test the airways. I think we've got to, if Detroit's going to get in position here, I think they've got to make something happen through the air.
2nd and 12 at the 47. Again, each team 2 timeouts. And he throws, and he underthrows Perriman, who was curling outside and was open.
He had it, and he just seemed to hurry it. He didn't look like he stepped into it, threw off his back
He
foot.
turned Woodson right around. Little move to the inside. Woodson gets turned around. He's wide open, and he should have stepped into this. He had time to step into it. He didn't do it.
No, bad. He threw completely off his heels, falling backward, actually, as he threw the ball.
3rd and 12 at the 47. Detroit and Dallas tied at 17. Mitchell rolling, directing, throwing back across his body, and it is incomplete at the 34. Perriman couldn't hold it. He was blanketed.
Risky.
Boy, how risky that was for the youngster. We saw the inexperience a few moments ago when he didn't get the ball to Perriman, and that one could have been very costly.
The problem is he ends up having to roll out and he didn't hardly have a receiver anywhere near the sideline. Perriman's the closest one, but he's clear inside by the hash marks.
Washington in there doing battle.
Yep, and amazingly, Mitchell delivered the ball.
Now Montgomery to punt. They're out of field goal range, so he'll have to send it down to Clayton Holmes. Bounces sideways inside the 15, and it will be down at the 16-yard line.
Pretty good bounce for Dallas.
Dan Malone downs it there.
What, 206?
Pretty good numbers for two guys.
No.
And some pretty good offensive lines tonight. That's Johnston in the slot. Aikman throws underneath to Emmitt. And he gets out to the 23-yard line. So Detroit couldn't get Hanson into position. Now the question is, can Dallas get the rookie Boniol into position for a game-winning field goal?
Don't you feel somewhere we're going to have an Irvin, we're going to have a Harper, something deep? Detroit thus far has just closed down these two outstanding wide receivers.
You get 2 timeouts in overtime. That's what both of these clubs still have on the board. 3 minutes and 10 seconds for Dallas.
2nd and 3, and they're going to give it to Emmitt again, and he's going to pick up the first down. He takes it out to the 32-yard line. Not only do you have the 2-time, you get the 2-minute warning. It's the same. The rules are now the same as they would be at the end of any regular fourth quarter.
Saw some missed tackles there by Detroit. Again, these players are physically exhausted, and that's one of the first things that begins to crop up are missed tackles.
Aikman, good play fake. Irvin open 49-yard line, and it's a first down in Detroit territory. Robert Massey was there, and Irvin is shaken.
At that time, Irvin, with full concentration, he knew he was going to get hammered. He did. Held on to the football and got the first down.
He got the wind knocked out of him. That's a shoulder right in the midsection. And
watch him concentrate on this ball and come down with it. He hugs it to his chest. He knows he's going to get hit. He pulls it right in, and he almost loses it as Massey puts his shoulder right on the ball. Great effort by an outstanding wide receiver.
It's a tough game, folks. It's a tough game played by really tough people.
Mentally
right,
tough.
Frank.
This is being mentally tough on the part of a wide receiver.
He knew he was going to get it, and he did get it. That was one of the great games.
Remember that one with the Cards?
Yes.
Years ago on
That was on a Monday night.
It was on a Monday night.
1983, the Cardinals and the Giants.
You had a great field goal kicker that night.
It might have been one of the ugliest games ever played on this planet.
Emmitt Smith is sent back into Dallas territory, back at the 48-yard line, and now we come to the 2-minute warning. So
this has been outstanding here. The Jerry Jones exhorting his team from the sidelines. So many good football players. So many alternatives for Troy Aikman here. And so much time left. 2 minutes, 2 timeouts.
2nd and 12. Irvin is back in the game. Aikman.
Look out.
Oh, he's hit from behind.
The ball's loose.
At the 43, and Detroit has it. The ball. Broderick Thomas stripped it.
Boy, Troy took a long time looking downfield. You know, after that much time, you got to worry somebody's coming up from behind.
Well, he was trying to step back into the pocket. He knew he was in trouble, and he just held on to it too long. But Thomas, coming around the horn, got the hand in there.
Broderick Thomas.
Talked earlier about how they have been so happy with his performance. Here he comes, number 51, getting around Eric Williams and coming back in, slapping at the ball and slapping it out.
There's a limit to how long a quarterback can stand in the pocket with the football, and Troy Aikman exceeded that limit.
Ball at the 43-yard line. One first down, and they're back in field goal range. And there is your one first down as Brett Perriman with a flag down takes it to the 25-yard line.
Now the flag's not at the line of scrimmage. The flag's downfield. Oh, and this is against the Dallas Cowboys.
The contact made beyond the 5 yards allowed. He was number 24. Riding. That's Larry Brown. You can't take over 4 yards for the 5 yards.
It's a penalty that doesn't come into play because of the completion. It's declined by Detroit.
Number 76 is an eligible receiver. Number 76.
And number 76, an eligible receiver downfield.
Scott Conover.
No, Scott Conover is an eligible receiver now in this formation.
Yeah. Coming up. Hanson in his career, which is now in its 3rd year, has never missed from less than 40. He's perfect. 42 of 42. Right now, if they didn't gain another yard, he's looking at about a 43-yard field goal.
Well, his last 2 have been the equivalent of hitting 1-irons low. I think he needs to strike a pitching wedge this time.
He missed a 42-yarder last week.
Get a little immediate elevation.
On opening day, he won a game on a 37-yarder in overtime against Atlanta in the Dome.
And I'd put 2 guys on Leon Lett. Try to keep him from getting some penetration.
If Detroit wins, a big assist to Broderick Thomas. He pulled off the hat trick. That was a sack, a forced fumble, and a recovered fumble to set Detroit up.
Well, I congratulate both of these clubs. They have played hard. They have fought. They have hit. And they did not give up under really hot, humid conditions down on the field.
Well, this could be a very defining moment for Detroit. They go on to win this game tonight.
A game like this is the reason a lot of people like this game.
First out of the 26. Barry Sanders goes nowhere.
And you see Barry not doing what he is prone to do, and that is to take the risk, bounce to the outside. He's not going to lose any yardage down at this point. He knows where he is in field position.
I don't think Detroit should be afraid to put the ball in the air here.
Lions have 1 timeout remaining. That much time left in overtime.
As long as Mitchell doesn't take a sack, as long as he's extremely careful to get rid of the football, I wouldn't be afraid to run some high percentage passes here.
Well, they're not going to do it.
Not in that formation.
2nd and 9. They give it to Barry. Ooh, he's back to the 28. So now you're looking at a 45-yard field goal. Tackled by Jeffcoat.
You can
Mitchell is upset with the calls that are coming in. He jumped up and down, stomped his feet. He wants to put the ball downfield.
You can be conservative to a fault.
Barry a little tempted to try to get to the outside. Maybe cost a yard.
3rd down and 12, and Dallas takes a time. Down and 11 for the Detroit Lions. The game tied at 17, deep into overtime. If they do not pick up a yard here, it's about a 45-yard field goal attempt for Jason Hanson.
All this play calling will be forgotten if Hanson drills the field goal, but it has been extremely conservative here by Detroit. 1 for 4 is, those are not the kind of numbers that inspire a lot of confidence either in the coach or the kicker.
This will be an interesting call. It has a lot to do with what you believe in your young quarterback. Giving him a high percentage pass, or will you put next to ordinary running back Barry Sanders into the line one more time? And
Herman Moore is standing on the sideline, so draw your own conclusions.
Oh, yeah. Well, Mitchell, he's going to set Hanson up right in the middle of the field. That's all that was.
Well, that's high percentage stuff there.
And Dallas takes a timeout because if Hanson misses this one,
these guys play 5 quarters, and it comes down to a guy who doesn't have a matching pair of shoes.
It's all black and white right here, isn't it?
Tell you,
yes or no?
If he makes this field goal, Detroit's going to be hard-pressed to give up those uniforms. They're going to want to play in them next week or until they lose. Dallas, on the other hand, will never wear those things again.
No way he's not thinking about big number 78, who's got a hand on a couple of his longer attempts tonight.
Dave Craig will put it down at the 34. A 44-yard Hanson attempt to try to win it for Detroit. side of the upright.
Great moment for this team.
Wayne Font said last night, this is a real measuring stick for my team. Well, they measured up. They go to Dallas, and they beat the world champions in overtime.
Wayne Fonts put a lot of stock in this game and finding out what kind of a football team he had. The Dallas Cowboys will be there. They will be there. They have too much talent to not be there. The Detroit Lions found out a great deal tonight, both about Scott Mitchell and about their football team.
Certainly their defensive team that took the explosive Dallas Cowboy offense and almost, other than Emmitt Smith with a few key runs, they just took the passing game right out of it.
Well, and you got it. There's going to be a lot of questions being asked this week here in Dallas. Jerry Jones' body English didn't work. But you know what? This is an offense that struggled last week against the Houston Oilers. It's an offense that struggled tonight against the Detroit Lions. For all their talent, the Dallas Cowboys, rather, the last 2 weeks have not been all that impressive in moving the football through the air. Emmitt Smith tonight, great night. Passing-wise,
Thomas with that sack, forced fumble, and recovered fumble to set him up.
and one of the fine turnarounds that we've seen in a long time was that Detroit offensive line. Embarrassed by Minnesota, heroes tonight.
Lions